Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me today is Ben X.
Oh, don't. That's the meanest thing you've ever said to me, straight up. That's actually, right into it, huh? I thought we were going to, add a little build-up planned, but that's fine.
Well, look, first, I have a story to tell about how we got here,
yeah,
why
that's
we are
good.
doing Daniel X today.
That was my first question, anyway. So, you know.
Okay, so I forget how many, it's definitely years ago at this point, but back when the bookstore Strand was closing, going out of business, me and my friend, we were both super into comic books. We basically went to every Strand location that we could find looking for stuff on sale because, going out of business sales.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's a good thing. And one of the things that was everywhere, wherever we went, was the manga adaptation of Daniel X. And eventually, and it just became an inside joke till eventually, we were walking out of the store and there was one waiting by the checkout. And I was starting to all right, fuck it. We're buying this. We're going to read this. And then we read it. And it was amazing and terrible. It's basically an adaptation of this story with some minor changes. It was hilarious. So then we went on the deep dive with Daniel X. I have the American graphic novel.
Oh no.
Dangerous Days of Daniel X. I played the DS game, which is a surprisingly it's an okay Metroidvania game. It's just, it's not as bad. Your morph ball, you turn into a soccer ball. You turn into a wolf, and then later in the game, you turn into a bird so you can fly around. It's short, but okay.
Yeah.
And one of those things along the way was I eventually read the book, and the book is by far the worst piece of Daniel X media. Because holy shit, it's just really bad. I mean, the thing that I think, first off, immediately when I picked up the book, the thing that makes it obviously terrible is that it's coming from the perspective of Daniel. Being in his head is not.
That doesn't.
It's bad.
It certainly doesn't help.
And also just the writing is bad.
Yeah,
it's bad.
So, fuck you. First off, that needs to be said straight up. God damn, dude. I was 2 paragraphs in. I was this is going to be the longest book I've ever read in my entire life.
It's very bad.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, it explains a lot that you didn't start with the book, I guess.
Yes.
No, it's
book was later on the journey. So eventually I was just I guess I should read this book. And man, this book is terrible.
Dude, it's I want to say that it's The Room as a book, as a concept, where it's just so everything about it, literally everything about it is so tremendously awful that it coalesces into one decent thing. I don't know if I'm there yet. That pain might still be too raw. In theory, that's what I want it to be. I don't know if I can call it that yet.
Yeah.
It's rough.
the thing that it's very bad. It's very bad. Even for a book written for kids, it's incredibly bad. But the thing that I love about the Daniel X series is that it's so much darker than it seems to know. It's so fucked up, the stuff that happens.
Oh, dude.
But it's such a lighthearted thing.
No, it's
that's the thing that makes it for me, and why I still just think about it a lot.
So have you read the sequel books then?
No, I haven't read any of the other books.
Okay, yeah.
I own the second book.
That sure as hell isn't happening on this podcast, not for free. That will be our glorious Patreon debut. If we get
But
enough
again,
money per month,
the
I'll
American
read.
graphic novel is an original story. So I have another
I
Daniel
mean,
X
that doesn't
adventure under my belt.
that doesn't help.
I'm going to tell you about it at the back end of this podcast.
Yeah.
It's amazing in its own way too.
Oh, yeah. This was. I was expecting something along the lines of like. I don't even know, dude. A little higher. I was like, okay, he's probably going to be in the realm of like Percy Jackson, Hunger Games, Divergent, like maybe even Twilight in a way. You know, it's going to be garbage, but it'll be like young adult, whatever garbage. No, no. That, like, I never thought that I would look at Twilight and be like, what a classical piece of literature that I would enjoy reading right now.
Yeah, just like the reading level that this book expects its audience to have is pretty pathetic.
But then there's random, like,
And it actually doesn't make sense for how the fucked up shit that happens in it. Like that's the thing. For how low the reading level is.
there's like weird jumps though. Like the person writing it, if it was in fact the terrorist known as James Patterson, if it was actually him.
Well, I think it's Michael Ledwidge, who's the other credited
Okay, so,
writer,
like,
which
he's
I think is how that works. And even that, it's probably like a team, like a writer's room or something. I don't know.
It doesn't matter because they swayed me over and I support capital punishment now. Like they did their job. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so there was like the whole thing is at like, I don't know, a second grade reading level or whatever, just abysmal. And then randomly there's like these giant words. Like clearly
Look, vocabulary words. They're trying to teach the kids.
and they went for so long without, like, they did the alien stuff and whatever, but even like I think the only thing was like the name of a gun, like the Opus 2420. Like, okay, it's a gun, you got to call it something, like whatever. And then right at the end it's like my drang, me and my drang. That's what it is. We're just gonna make up this word right at the end of this book. So not only do you have, oh my god, I don't even know where to start.
I mean,
there's so much.
Okay, I just want to start at the beginning with him being a
that's-
3-year-old building.
Oh my god,
The wonders of the ancient world out of Play-Doh.
dude! Like before that, even when it was like it starts out as like, love you too always. You may have noticed I'm not talking like a 3-year-old. Now I hadn't really thought about it. Now that you bring it to my attention, though, sure, I'll go along. Oh no, what do you mean a normal 3-year-old? Fuck. And then yeah, immediately to Play-Doh. Jesus. So the book is called The Dangerous Days of Daniel X. The little subtitle that's in print so fine that the reader has to find it in their own mind is The Dangerous Days of Daniel X, colon, the best at literally everything in the entire galaxy. Maybe universe.
He got a 0 on that one. I know, actually, that makes him the best at failing, too. He tried to be bad at his test, and he was too good at it.
Oh no.
No, that doesn't work.
How do I act like a human, right, guys? I'm an alien that looks exactly like a fucking human and has been living on Earth. Jesus. There's one thing that he wasn't the best at. Being able to adapt into society literally at all. You fucking idiot. God, I hate him so much.
He's not the best at having real friends. His friends are all imaginary or evil.
Yeah, okay. So I'll fill the good people in. So basically name a fucking power. And this guy has it. Like, he's 15.
He has the
classic.
As the tagline of the series says, the greatest superpower is the power to create.
Yeah, okay. So instead of even doing like, he makes it very clear that it's not just illusions. Like, it's real, tangible shit.
Yes.
And what does a 15-year-old do? A piece of shit, pathetic 15-year-old? Well,
He
first
recreates
off,
his dead parents.
yeah. And his apparently unborn sister that
Yes.
was like his mom was pregnant with. Oh my god.
He recreates her before eventually piecing it together that maybe she was an unborn child and not just a thing he invented.
Yeah. Yeah. And
This
of
series
course,
is weird.
invents his friends.
Yes, he's
Like,
also
he
got
has his
imaginary friends.
And he has a
like
crush
any good
on
child.
one of them. Like, this is my whole thing. Like, he's doing all of this, and like, I'm the strongest, I'm the smartest, I'm the fastest, I can levitate people, I can create
He can talk to
individuals
spiders
at will. Yeah, he can talk to shit. He's
His psychic powers. He basically reads everyone's
he can
mind,
read minds and shit. For all of this,
and he can turn into spiders
for
or
all
elephants.
of the ticks. Yeah,
Look,
just whatever.
yeah,
he
the
wants.
best part, the the best line is when he says, "Yeah, my powers, they're so much better than being just part spider." Take that, Spider-Man. You
Yeah,
got
that shot, that
told.
fucking right up. Yeah. Yeah, for how much shit he is apparently super great at, and knowing all the like, yeah, you know what?
Hey, he's only level 3 strength.
Fuck! Don't. We'll get there. We'll get there. There's too much. There's too much. It's all hitting me at once.
I don't know that he can even bend a nickel with his eyelid.
Ugh. But for how smart he is, he like, what is it? Is it medical something or engineering something that he like glances at it and he has photographic memory, so he just remembers it or something?
I don't remember.
It's, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter because it's anything he looks at, I'm sure, as
Yes.
it fits the needs of the plot. For how smart he is, he doesn't realize like how socially inept and stupid as fuck he is. Also, God, I want to punch him so bad, but I can't because he's too strong.
Yeah, it's a very punchable book because you're fucking stuck in this asshole's head.
Dude, I almost
it's so
broke
much
my-
worse because he's the narrator. It makes
It's-
everything
dude,
worse.
It's 1,000 times worse. I heard he's level 6 strength. Fuck. It's like every single thing that they could do to get me to hate this book more, they did it. They fucking they busted out. It was terrible.
No. And that's the like every other version, like specifically the manga and the comic, they're so much better just because you're not stuck in his head.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's so much better. It's just amusing instead of being fucking insufferable. Like, it's amusingly dumb and bad, but this is just, oh man.
The worst part is like the story itself, and it's not terrible, but like the fact that there's just zero character development. Like, ever since I was 3 years old, I knew I was an alien hunter with super special powers, and I just fucking jerked myself off mentally and emotionally, knowing that I am better than literally everyone else on the entire fucking planet. Like,
I'm better than more than twice as good as both my parents combined.
oh my god, what he fucking buzz. I'm like, even your parents aren't safe from this masturbatory narcissism. Help. Someone. Grandma. Beat him up.
Look, he has one actually defining characteristic other than just being the best, and it's that he's an elephant nerd.
God.
The phrase
moved
elephant
elephants for
nerd
me.
is one of my favorite things.
I'm
about
kind
this
of an elephant
dumb
nerd.
Elephant nerd. He's reading Water for Elephants, which is that's man. You read this book and you're like, I don't think you read Water for Elephants before you picked it here. I think you just saw that it had elephant in the title. He calls it a honey of a story.
A honey of a story. Man, also that recent Iliad knowledge, where he's like, just like Achilles in the Iliad, gonna just fight 1v1. I'm like, you mean the entire fucking book? Like, it's literally just people fighting 1v1 in front of the armies. That's the whole thing. So one of the things that they do. Okay, so as I mentioned, maybe I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. God. Daniel X is an alien hunter, and he is the son of people who were alien hunters. And so it starts off with like this alien burning down his house and be like, "Where's the fucking list?" And they have the list. It's capitalized every fucking time. And it turns out this is a list of like what the most wanted aliens,
Yes.
who for some reason are all on Earth. And they're all just doing basic Earth shit like kidnap and drug dealing. So it's
The
really
most dangerous.
It's really
most dangerous,
fucking
man.
stupid from the get-go. And I'm trying to work this into my overarching thesis of this book, which is that James Patterson and or whoever worked on it is xenophobic as all shit to a degree that puts Lovecraft to shame. Look at the bad aliens. Look at how disgusting they are. Look at how grotesque and nasty Seth, what's his name is, because that's the bad alien. Seth.
Urgent Seth.
Sure. Big
Seth
boy.
for short.
Number 6. What was his strength level? Like 7? It was pretty strong.
Fuck, I don't remember.
I think
It
it's
was up there,
7,
yeah.
dude. Like him, and there's like all these other grotesque aliens, just like detailed descriptions of just for like being gross, like the sake of being gross. And
Yeah.
like slime, like they slimed me, and they like drip slime down his throat or something, and like just all this disgusting description.
I mean, part of the point of Urgent Seth being gross is because Daniel X wanted to fuck him.
Yeah, that we'll get there.
It's part of the reason you have to hit the gross thing so hard.
Daniel X is smart,
They cuddled.
but Daniel X could see into minds, but could he see why Phoebe is off limits? Could he see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Probably not. But so later on in the story, we find out that, well, not even too later on. I don't know. They kind of drop the knowledge. It goes from him thinking he's an alien to just like suddenly knowing he's an alien. We don't really get that transition. It's like, I think I'm an alien. And then like 4 pages later, it's like, so I'm an alien and this is my homeworld. Like really jump that. But
Yeah, no, he does. Because the chapters in this are so fucking short.
dude, someone, I
It's
looked it
so-
up. Someone averaged it out as 2.6 pages. There's 92
My favorite
chapters.
one is the chapter that's half a page. Like the next chapter
Dude,
starts
yeah.
on the opposite front.
Yeah. So it turns out that his homeworld is home to a bunch of aliens, and their job, or not their job, like their self-appointed job, because a lot of them were born with these special powers in varying degrees. They kind of saw themselves as the protectors of the galaxy or the universe or whatever. Like they had the ability to stand to they called them outworlders, I think, or something. They had the ability to protect. Those aliens look just like humans, and there's literally nothing different about them, and they're perfect.
Yeah.
So that's fucked up. What, in order to be good, you gotta look like a human? You fucker.
I don't know. I think of it more as like, I mean, a lot of the Daniel X thing is like a Superman ripoff because he grows up he's in Kansas when his parents get murdered.
Oh.
So that's what I think of.
Yeah. I mean, and that, yeah, like the coming from a different planet, whatever. And just that whole thing. Except, I don't know, even just the concept of him being on Earth and his parents being on Earth and like people going back, like, it's so just kind of messy. I don't know. And this is, it needs to be said, I am looking for literally any opportunity to criticize this book because it deserves it. So like there are so many things that if this were not the Dangerous Days of Daniel X, I'd look over. I don't care. I really don't. But here we are. Oh,
What about the part where he introduces his mom? And because he's the narrator, he has to tell you how hot she is.
yeah.
So you have to get that from him.
Yeah, she was banging.
It's like, oh, you could have avoided this if only Daniel X weren't the narrator.
Yeah. No, it's rough. He's the worst. He's actually the worst. Um shit, there was something I don't know if you got anything you want to dive into. I was going to say something, it slipped my mind.
Um, his sister's name is Porkchop, which is
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's not even
There's
a
like a
problem.
great, there's a great part. It's like dramatically introducing her as real, and then like her name was Porkchop.
Yeah, not even like they couldn't like you can't just you can call her that,
It's
that's
like,
fine. But,
oh
maybe
yeah, yeah.
give
When
her a
it's
name.
fucking Phoebe is telling him about her sister who was kidnapped, and he's like, I know what you're feeling. I lost her sister too. And then in italics, it's her name was Porkchop.
Her name was Porkchop.
Not a nickname, just that is her actual name. Okay.
Well, that
Also,
was
elephants are aliens too.
See, that was actually
FYI.
that was probably the thing I was most okay with in the entire story. Like, okay, they came to Earth and they brought elephants or whatever. Sure, that's like whatever. I can get behind that. That's fine. Um, what I didn't appreciate was getting to his homeworld and like, well, why the fuck is my name Daniel when everyone else here is like Bleep Blorp and Kurfelprg? And it's like, well, your parents gave you a human name, an Earth name, so that you would fit in. Okay, then why is my relative named Joe?
I mean, look, there's some overlap.
Also, of course, and this was like just you already hurt me. They already hurt me deeply throughout this entire book, and now at this point they're just shaking salt in that wound. His friends, his imaginary fucking friends, of course, were like the little childhood friends that he had as a baby back on this homeworld. Also, how the fuck were his parents at the age to like be married and everything on this homeworld, and then went to Earth and had no accents and also spoke perfect English? We never get any details
Because they're
about
like
a
Daniel.
translate.
They're the best, and they just read people's minds. It's
How
fine.
did no one fucking discover that they're aliens? If they're just like Daniel, they were fucked.
Because they were
Literally,
Kansas farmers.
he levitated that principal. He just levitated him.
Oh yeah, well he's an idiot.
Ugh. I'm so glad that I read this on Kindle. I didn't like I was doing some of it at school, and I'm like, if I had a cover, if people saw me reading this, I might have to like transfer universities.
I like the part where it's like, who would burn a book? It's like, like this would be good kindling.
Starting to think about it. Before today, the answer was anyone but me.
It's very important to me. One of the things I really like is the extent to which he really the Daniel X series really hammers home that his friends and family are imaginary
Yeah.
and he created them.
Yep.
Like, there's a chapter that ends, "Thanks for helping me out, guys," I said, lowering my fork and raising my Pellegrino in a toast. God, the writing in this fucking book. "Here's to the best family in the world. Even though you're not real," in italics.
Yeah. No, the writing is also just terrible.
It's really bad. There are just constantly too many details. Like, just throw it in.
Just
It loves to
terrible,
throw
isn't it?
in too many details. That
But
just
like about
awkwardly.
stupid shit that nobody cares about. Actually, even just from
My
like
Torquat, like his turquoise eyes. Or whatever.
can't just have normal fucking eyes either, can you, Daniel? Doesn't even matter if you did. You just give yourself fun eyes.
Man.
Just from like the first page, what the hell? What I forget what the exact wording is, but it's the whole. I would say, take me to your leader, but I'm not that kind of alien or whatever. So, that's a start. I know what I'm in for now.
Another one of my favorite lines is when he goes, "That's right. Never give up. Never say die. Live in complete denial." Yeah, that's right, Daniel. Just like Garfield.
When he's going to school, which was terrible. Like, that was such a terrible shoehorned attempt to, like,
Make him
oh,
relatable.
We're going to go to high school or whatever, and he's going to deal with high school stuff. Except, like,
Yeah.
he previously didn't give a fuck about truancy officers, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, well, I guess I better keep him off my back, huh? Wink.
Look, man, he's not going to go to school because he has to go to school. He's going to go to school on his terms.
Yeah. He wants to get, you know, that Phoebe ass. But, like, seriously, those truancy officers, though, like, what's their strength level? Like, half? Maybe not even. He could, like,
pretty low.
he could fucking snap his fingers and disintegrate all of their bones.
He accidentally creates them again at one point
Yeah,
when
that's
he
right.
tries to fix his house.
Yeah. Oh, my powers are so strong. Oh, I just create people. I'm a god. Fuck yourself, Daniel.
I'll say the way the stuff with Phoebe is
it's creepy as fuck, right?
it's pretty bad. It's very yeah. The fact that he's like reading her mind constantly. Like if she weren't evil, that relationship would be really fucked up.
Dude, it would still be terrible. I mean, they're both awful. They're both
yes.
awful at being characters of
Uh-huh.
any sort, but like yeah, this is what could, Hank, I don't see the problem. What could possibly be like wrong with someone just reading a girl's mind and knowing exactly what to say to her to make her do stuff with him? How
Yeah.
could that be wrong?
To get her to like him.
Yeah.
I'm glad he gets his comeuppance on that.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
That was also like around that school nonsense is also around one of my favorite lines. There's so many to choose from, of course, but
You can kind of look at any page and you'll find an amazing line that's just like,
no.
what the hell?
There's too many to choose. This one was just so on the money though, of like, what is it? I think it's when he's taking that first test or whatever, when he tries to get a few wrong. He's like, it's hard to do whatever when you can telepathically know all of human knowledge. Like, it says that verbatim. And it's just the worst. Yeah, dude. This was a banger of a read. And then, God, his homeworld is so terrible. Why does everyone the masturbatoriness just doesn't stop? The elephant fucking knows him. This old lady is your grandma. Here are all your cousins, your friends.
Really undermining the whole premise of the X part of the Daniel X, so he has no family.
Yeah.
Thing.
Daniel X, because he doesn't have any family. Except he literally does now. What's your last name? Is it Bleep Blorp? Is that, it's on The Dangerous Days of Daniel Bleep Blorp. Little fella. Shitbag.
Look, man, he's got a drang.
It's such a terrible concept. First off, it's a terrible thing to hone in on, and it's just the worst thing of all time to make up a word
it's like
for.
he's got a gang, but it's alien, so it's
and
drang.
then he says it later, like me and my drang. Really? Really? You type that out for this book you're narrating and you don't want to immediately shoot yourself in the head? That's impressive, because I had to read it and I want to do that. There's so many things that they could have made up words for. Also, all the aliens just speak English. Everybody's speaking English here. We don't get any explanation.
Psychic powers, man.
He
You don't
goes
know.
to a foreign fucking planet, and apparently the native language is English. How?
I mean, that could just be the book making it up for you, man. It's psychic. Whatever.
They're not all psychic, though.
Yeah, but he's psychic, so he could speak whatever.
What about all the other aliens?
It's fine, Ben.
No, it's not.
It's fine,
Nothing in this book is fine. That's the biggest lie that you've ever told me on this podcast. It's fine.
Okay, that specific complaint is fine, because I would accept that in a different work of fiction that I liked more.
There were so many throwaway details. There were so many useless throwaway details. He could have thrown away a detail about like my translator device. Okay. Literally all I needed. The Babel fish. I don't know.
Also, not everyone just speaks regular English. Urgent Seth has a British accent.
Right. Yeah, of course. Right. How could I forget? Actually, okay, so that I apologize. My impression, I've realized my impression of Daniel may be a little off. He probably didn't sound like that. He strikes me as more of like a actually I have telepathy.
He's gonna tell you all about elephants.
Ugh.
He's got a lot of elephant facts to tell you.
How do I unsubscribe? And the fact that like all of his friends, he doesn't have friends. He has, first off, they're imaginary. Like, and we can just skip past that part. At best, he has employees. At worst, it seems like kind of like he has subjects because he does not give a fuck about any facet.
He turns
of their
them
lives.
off.
Yeah,
he's like, don't guys send me away yet. I just want to finish this episode of The Simpsons, man. He's like, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Gone.
Out. And
it was his real friends who he blinks out of existence at will, at his own whim.
And even when they're around, it's just for him. He either wants company or specifically with his friends, he needs shit done. He needs some cronies to do his work because fucking Daniel. Those aren't friends. He doesn't have friends.
He doesn't have friends. You're not wrong.
I don't know what there has to be a word for it, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, yeah. You were saying something.
So the graphic novel. In which basically the plot about it is he's hunting this alien that's made out of ants, but then like part of the ants forms this other kid who Daniel becomes friends with, and at the end like that ant kid sacrifices himself to save Daniel or whatever.
Of course.
Or something like that. But the best part about it is at the end, suddenly Daniel no longer gets the same emotions from his fake friends now that he's had this real friend who was made out of ants that he misses and is dead. Suddenly now his fake friends, they feel hollow in comparison. The end. That's how that ends.
That's the perfect ending.
It's pretty amazing. His one true love, the boy made of ants. Just that really hit home. These friends are imaginary, guys. He made them up. They're not real.
Yeah. No, like how he just doesn't ever realize that.
It's fucked up. It's a fucked up story.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of there's just a lot of like really dark shit, but it's all overshadowed by the terribleness of Mr. Daniel.
Yes.
I can't believe there's more. Dude, this book had like a 3 or 3.8 star average on Goodreads. How? Who's doing this?
Children
No.
assume
No. Uh,
children who aren't very good at reading.
I guess. Or people just fucking... It's like some sort of
Because
denial.
that's the really thing I don't get about this book is the reading level is so low, but the content is more intense than you have to like be behind in your ability to read for a
I
kid
don't
for
know,
this
it's
book to
like-
be like appropriate to them. I feel like.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's like darker. Not I shouldn't say a lot. There's darker stuff that happens in not kids books, but like young adult books, I guess, like preteen, whatever. So
Yeah, preteen. But this is below preteen.
yeah. I'm trying to think. So the thing
I don't know.
that-
It's bad.
Yeah.
Is the actual
I mean,
answer.
it's fucking terrible. Yes.
I'm like because if I try to logic it out with like maybe it's just like really little kids, but then the content it doesn't make sense for me. So they actually have to be a little older,
Well,
and then
that's-
it's just terrible.
Yeah, the closest comparison I even have to that is like, do you know the Warriors series at all?
No,
Cat books. They got cats on the cover.
never heard of it.
Wow, uncultured swine. They're books about cats. And they live in like tribes in the forest. They live in tribes of the forest, dude. It's like 3 chicks that write the books. Really got into like one trick pony sort of stuff. They started another book about dogs, I think, and also a book about bears. Maybe we do that one. But it's like cat stuff, and I think that attracts a lot of kids, a lot of preteens, particularly girls, I would say. There's a lot of shit in those books, dude. There's like genocide. Like there is a cat standing on a pile of cat bones talking about how any cats that are pets need to be killed because the blood needs to be pure. Like those cats get into some shit.
That's fair.
But it's not the right like the level isn't nearly the same.
No. I mean that is
Magic
true.
Treehouse has a higher reading level than Dangerous Days of Daniel X.
Yeah, that's the thing. I will say I do subscribe to the theory that the best kids fiction is stuff that is dark enough for kids to read, but not so dark that their parents take it away from them.
Yeah.
You have to thread that needle.
So like the Hobbit.
Sure,
Maybe.
Ben.
I don't
Sure.
know. I still have a difficult time believing that's a kid's book. Sometimes
That's a kid's book.
I
mean, my mom read it to me as a kid.
but like yeah. No, it's great to read to a kid, but like
Yeah.
a kid reading that book, I don't know. I don't know because I never picked it up as a kid. So
That's fair.
man, I did not.
Yeah.
What other stuff of notable name has James Patterson done? I can't think of any like off the top of my head that I know he did.
I
or
mean,
his name is on.
his name is on a lot of books.
Yeah,
like a
no,
lot.
I know that it's a shit
So
load.
it's like, I mean, I think a lot of it's standard, like thriller paperback fare.
yeah,
Like adult. A lot of it's adult. Like my grandma really liked James Patterson novels, just because she liked, any detective story she could find, she would read.
yeah. I just want to see.
But the notable for there have definitely been movies made about from his books, like the movie Alex Cross, which I don't think was a big.
Alex
I know it's-
Cross might be the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but what he's notable. The other thing he's notable for me is that another kids series he wrote, Maximum Ride.
Maximum Ride, okay. 'Cause
And
I'm
I saw-
yeah.
I saw the Maximum Ride movie in theaters, and that is amazing.
Yeah. It's like the
That-
same
and
kind
it-
of
and it-
amazing, right? based
Well,
on?
it's the I think the lowest grossing movie I've ever seen in a theater.
Hell yeah.
Like
Hell
nobody
yeah.
saw that fucking movie, and also like the effects are spectacularly bad, and every
Nice.
character speaks like they have the same voice.
Okay.
And also there's a kid that wants to stab another kid, so that always bumps up a thing for me.
I don't.
But but that one I think is more popular than Daniel X. Even that's just about. It's like the X-Men, but what if they just all were kids with wings? They all had angel wings.
Yeah, Okay, I remember Maximum Ride. Trying to see where like. Oh, Alex Cross it was.
Yeah,
That one sounds familiar too.
I think it's starring Tyler Perry. I think. The
I was
movie.
meant for like the book.
No.
Okay, that sounds familiar. I feel like I'm getting it confused with something else though. Looking at it, but that's fine.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, I just know like I can't walk into a fucking bookstore without seeing like 1,000 James Patterson novels.
Yeah, man. He's just one of those writers who actually is not a writer.
Yeah.
Or
Well, he was
that-
not anymore.
Yeah, he's a brand is more than anything. Here, his Wikipedia page lists Alex Cross, Michael Bennett, Women's Murder Club, Maximum Ride, Daniel X, NYP Dead, Witch and Wizard, and Private as his
Yeah.
the series.
Yeah,
of
that's what
his
I
that
that's
they
what I
list.
was just on. Ugh. I feel like Maximum Ride is probably the one I knew the best. Just because like I actually knew of it.
That's fair.
Is there? I forget if you said there was one, or there was going to be one and it got canceled, or if there is going to be one and it's not canceled for a film adaptation of Dangerous Days of Daniel X, or just Daniel X in general.
I don't think there is. Because I would have watched it if that existed. Not gonna lie.
So are you like? Oh yeah.
Yeah, apparently they planned a movie, but it got stuck in development hell, which I'm not surprised of after watching that fucking Max for Ride movie.
Yeah.
It's fucking garbage.
So would you say that you are the world's biggest Daniel X fan?
I mean, I played that DS game. I feel like a pretty big. I mean, I haven't read all the books though, so I can't. I only read this first book.
Would you consider that perhaps you're the greatest fan because you're the only fan?
Well, there's me and my friend who also went down
Okay,
I went down this rabbit hole with. I wasn't
All right,
alone in my journey.
Who's more committed? Like
Pretty
who's
committed.
who deserves the plaque that I'm going to have custom made at the
He
trophy
was the
store?
one who put it this way. He was the one that bought the manga when we read it. He bought it first.
Okay, he threw down money first. All right.
Yes, he threw down money first. Then I bought I own the book and I own the graphic novel. But
How
I don't
many
own the
people's
manga.
lives has he ruined by suggesting they read it?
I don't know.
You think it's one? More than one?
It's probably more than. It's definitely more than one.
Okay.
Again, because mutual friends who'd recommend it to. But again, not the book. I don't know that either of us had ever recommended the book to anyone, so that might be a
Okay,
first
so
for me.
so you ruining my life.
Yes,
was a first.
that might be
Okay.
the top.
Great.
That might be the top because we would, if the manga adaptation was the thing we would recommend because that's like readable
Yeah.
and
No,
you still
and,
get the amazing content and how fucked up because the amazing thing is how much darker it is than it thinks it is. That's the real appeal.
Yeah,
ultimately, the book
And
is
that's-
just surprisingly terrible.
Like in a non Daniel narrated form, like I can see this. It still isn't something that I like. It definitely is easier to hit that realm of like the Room territory where it's like this is fucking terrible. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean the drawings of the elephant moments in the manga are pretty great. Like, we never even talked about how Daniel eventually wins, but it's pretty great.
Yeah, we could
Turns
talk
into
about
a tick, climbs into the bad guy's ear, and then
with
turns into
way
an elephant.
too many descriptions of the dude's earwax. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
God, it was so unnecessary. I'm sitting there like... It's terrible, dude. Yeah, and then he turns into an elephant. Ugh. And that's fine. You know, that's whatever. I like how Daniel just, you know, he never has to question his morals.
No. He's not a very introspective character. Despite the fact that which is part of what makes living in his head so fucking insufferable.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, this is such a punchable book. It's just...
Dude, it's rough. Now, his main philosophy is sort of tautological. Why is this thing right? Well, because I'm doing this thing, so it has to be right. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I know what's right. I've known what was right since I was 3.
I'm 15, and I'm a child genius. I'm still just, like, this was a revelation that I kind of had, like, when I said it earlier in the podcast. I can't believe that all of the aliens are so far, like, are just all on Earth doing normal bad Earth people stuff. Like, okay, he's selling the humans to other aliens, but, like, humans sell that's a thing that goes on anyway. Like, there is nothing except, okay, did Seth wanted to, like, destroy the planet, though, kind of, right? Or, like, core it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Even so, that's boring as hell. Why, if he wants to do that, why is he selling coke and kidnapping children? Like,
yeah, that's a good question.
Understand
like, is that whatever their aims might be, they're fucking taking their sweet time on it.
Yeah.
It's been 12 years since Daniel even got the list. He hasn't even touched the top 10, who are supposedly really the ones that are, like, gonna ruin the Earth.
Yeah.
They haven't done shit.
And
it stretches the disbelief. Unlike other parts of this book.
And just how, like, I know it's such a common thing. I know we've discussed it before with, like, comic book villains in particular. Like, this guy has control over literally all of space, time, all of the molecules and atoms in the universe. He is beyond God. But he loses because, I don't know, he fucking sneezes and closes his eyes while he's doing it, and Iron Man, like, gut punches him or something. You know, it's always something like that, right? Like, there's that moment of whatever. And, like, in Harry Potter, Voldemort has his pride. Like, if you put a Horcrux in a pebble and fucking thrown it in the ocean, GG. But, you know, you gotta have that stuff. Why, in the dangerous days of Daniel X, does Seth, whoever Seth, why is his little
Urgent
shtick,
Seth. It's
Urgent
the other
Seth.
way around.
Why does his shtick have to be people called him Dum Dum? How do you get to be number 6 on this fucking list when your big fat weakness is, I don't want people to call me Dum Dum?
Dum Dum got killed by Stinky Pants. That's the book we just read.
God. How did this get published? Who authorized this?
This is bestseller, man.
Do they even read it? Does it just say, like, does James Patterson just walk in and be like, yo, new manuscript? And they're like, I'll send it to press.
Yep. Probably.
Hey, man, before I put it on the printers, like, I took a look at, like, any page of the book. It's all terrible. Do you really want me to, like, throw this out there? Do you want to print money or no? Put it on the press.
No, you just put James Patterson's name on the cover, and then
Yeah.
money just prints itself. Is basically the theory.
Yeah. So, like,
As I-
J.K. Rowling's book after she stamped her name over her pseudonym.
Uh-huh.
Man.
Although, I will say, my copy of Daniel X, at least James Patterson's name is smaller than Daniel X on the cover.
Yeah.
Which I feel like this kind of book, a lot of times those author names are bigger than the fucking titles.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like Dan Brown novels.
Mm-hmm.
People got to know who they're reading.
Yeah. Even if they're not reading them.
Yeah.
It's the brand. It's the Trump theory. You just put your name on the thing.
Guess. But, like, I'm giving you the bet. Like, he had to get to that point, right? Like, he had to do something to get
that's
there.
Fair. Mm-hmm. Nah, maybe not. I mean, Trump didn't.
Trump was
Now that I think about
Trump
it.
was born into wealth, though. He's like, I think he just. Here's the thing. I think Trump just business. Scumbagged his
one of the
way
biggest,
up, right?
Well, one of the biggest things was he had someone ghostwrite his book that like came
Trump
up
or-
with an identity for him.
Trump or Patterson?
The Art of the Deal thing.
Oh yeah.
So part of it was just the person who
that.
got hired to write his book came up with a thing that caught on.
Yeah.
Was part of it for sure. So then he kind of inherited that personality based on the book afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense. I don't know, and like that's still ultimately like a buy your way in sort of deal. It sounds like.
Yeah. You pay
So
someone
I
to write a book about
I
you.
don't know if James Patterson, like I don't know enough about him. Like I assume he wrote stuff early and then got to the point where he started paying people.
Some of his books are probably good for thriller fare.
Yeah. Like some of the it looks like he started out, or the earlier stuff was like mystery novels. Those are probably those are probably fine.
Yeah, he probably wrote fine mystery novels. He probably wrote a lot of them even.
But it doesn't matter because he also put his name on Daniel X.
It's so bad. I can't. It's very striking. It's stuck with me over years because I was like,
No,
this book is fucking really poorly written. Like, man.
This is now like this is up there. Like if I meet people who are like into books or whatever, I'd be like if someone's into movies, I'm gonna be like, have you seen The Room? If they say no, I'm gonna be like, you should watch The Room. Hey, I notice you like reading. Have you read or even heard of The Dangerous Days of Daniel X? No, you have not. Obviously. Go read it. Go read it. Preferably with as many bottles of alcohol as you can muster in your system.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is. Like, I'm still so angry. There's all this hatred boiling within me.
I mean, that was the thing about going down the Daniel X rabbit hole. Every corner we turned looking for more Daniel X content, it was all fucking notable. It was all like
a new
like
and
wow,
different
like
type of
wait,
hell.
what?
Unbelievable. God. It's I mean on a sort of high note, is probably one of the few books out there where 99% or even 100% of the fan fiction that might be written about it is of higher quality than the novel itself. It might have the highest ratio of that. You get something like Harry Potter and it's like, well, there's a new house and it's for popular kids. It's the Dragon House. I don't know. Or
I mean,
Warriors.
I'm pretty
It was
sure.
always Warriors. That fan fiction is terrible. First, because furries. Second off, because they have names like Shadow Clan, Thunder Clan. They always at guaranteed. If someone does fan fiction, they make up a Fire Clan. They do it every time. With Daniel X, first off, what can you even do? Daniel's already fucking done it. It's already canon, baby.
You beat the
just
he
add it
has his rival who's a walrus nerd.
I guess. Oh no.
I don't know.
Elephants are a shit animal. They can't even survive in the cold. Loser. What's the proportions of the elephant's tusk to the rest of its body? Yeah? Now let's look at a walrus's tusks. Idiot. Clearly the Oh my god. That would be fucking amazing. Yeah. I just Whew boy. What a fucking world we live in.
Oh, that dice roll.
I'm just suggest. Yeah. First off, that was a terrible decision. I regret everything. Everything I've done in my life has led me to this moment of pure regret. Every single step I've taken, I'm here. Man, I'm not saying the novel is bad per se, but like if Christ knew that it was going to exist, he wouldn't have sacrificed himself. If there's a God, he'll have to ask me for forgiveness.
I mean, look at it this way. The book we read next will be better.
I hope.
There's no book on this list.
Maybe we double down. Maybe we play those odds.
Hey, I own the next book in the series.
I was going to say we couldn't
far?
possibly get 2 Daniel X books in a row, right?
I don't think I could do another episode on the whole Daniel X, just one Daniel X book.
Yeah. No more. Absolutely no more.
Yeah. Even at the height of my Daniel X obsession, I couldn't bring myself to actually read the next book.
Yeah.
I did buy it, though. And still have it.
See, I'm glad I didn't buy it. Sometimes,
I'm very glad I own this book. It's an important object.
Are you gonna? You know what? You should get everyone involved to sign it at some point. Like that should be a life goal, perhaps. Man, get people to sign it, and at least one of them be like, "Can you make it out to my drang?"
My friend also gave me I have the audiobook version of Maximum Ride.
Okay, Maximum Ride.
Yeah.
All right. Man, you think Ron Perlman is still in the audiobook game? Think we could get him to do a Daniel X one? Jesus Christ.
Our follow-up to this will be we'll do a commentary over that terrible Maximum Ride movie at some point, because that's a thing. That's a movie that's bad enough to do that.
I definitely remember you mentioning this, and yeah, no, I'm 100% down.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wanting to get that off my chest for like 4 days now. That was a lot.
I'm glad we could do this. Again, my before we came up with the book club idea, my plan was to just do an episode where I just told you about Daniel X.
Yeah, and then
this was so much more fulfilling for me.
And then I suggest a book club, and Hank's sitting there like, he fucking played himself though.
You played yourself. DJ Khaled meme here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and we rolled the random die and everything.
Yeah, fucking yep.
That nat one. Dude. But I think that's a podcast. So.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You can email us at saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at saltcirclepod. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and Spotify as Salt Circle Podcast. And you can find our episodes hosted at anchor.fm/saltcircle. And I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm on Twitter at bean_LP. I'm reasonably certain that by reading this book, by engaging in this, we are both probably going to hell. So I'll see you there.
Look, it was a honey of a story.